We're hell diving while chained together, while making content, while also climbing to the peak. It was co-op day, so I got 4 games that the guys prepared for me for the gauntlets. This was Bex's choice, was to have a co-op day with the team. So I got to play with everybody who works at PG. So it was a good intro for some of you of these behind-the-scenes characters who create software, sort out all these deals and things that we go and do, all the traveling that I do, all that kind of stuff. And of course, our wonderful community manager, Bex. Chris, you know mostly anyway from being around on the stream. But all these other events that we run, PreachCon, etc., that are all run by Bex, these big parties that we have, all sorted by her and coordinated with the team, including our little event that's coming up in the not-too-distant future. You'll hear about that soon. So I was really excited for this, although it meant that my gauntlet day is rough because, one, they had control of the game because I'm not doing it on my own. Makes it very hard to beat a challenge when other people can interfere with it. And also, they dedicated a whole day to this, so there was no getting out of it regardless. My timer was going to go down. It was sabotage of the highest magnitude, is what I would say, for this event. But I didn't mind. It was really fun. I could make it up. I've still got Titanfall 2, Balatro, and Slay the Spire to beat. In like a couple of days. I am screwed. I am screwed. I feel like I've been set up so that they definitely get their punishment out that they've devised. That was probably the starting point, was probably the punishment. What did we start with? We started with Peak. So what I want to do here is very briefly go over them and games that I would return to. That's kind of what I think about here, is games that I would be like, oh, I would like to play that with some other people. Let's start with Peak. Simple game. 4 of you have to reach a peak, and you do that by just climbing a mountain, and there's lots of tools and goofy things and foods and poisons, all this kind of stuff along the way to either help or hinder you, and ultimately you get to the peak, and then you go to the next one throughout the level. I enjoyed this a little bit. It was a game that is, for me, designed around just like a few friends with nothing really to play. There's nothing going on in your favorite MMO. You're not playing a single player game right now, and you're all chilling on Discords. Like, let's play some Peak just so we can goof around. Like, the fun and joy from this actually came from Bex, who's a seasoned player of Peak, and did not take the actual getting to the peak remotely as the interest of the game. And I totally see where she's coming from with that. Instead, she had fun with the trumpet, chasing me with it, blowing on it whenever you get there, getting stuck, redoing, trying to kill your friends, feed them peppers. You can force feed people, which they did to me a lot. You can force feed poison to them. And that is where the fun and joy of this game comes from. I didn't particularly enjoy the gameplay itself. That was the only thing that bothered me about Peak, is the actual playing of the game in terms of getting to the peak. I have a natural instinct to want to beat games. I've always been that way. The idea of playing a game with no intention of sort of reaching the end goal is not me at all. It's one of the reasons I found Catum, whatever it's called, the rolly ball game, stressful, because I wanted to beat it. The idea of the chill, relaxing game isn't really in my wheelhouse. Animal Crossing, all those kind of games that are just designed to like just kick back, put your feet up, and just sort of do something. That's not for me. I like action. I like a goal to reach, and this goal didn't quite do it for me. From then we went on to Content Warning. Much better game. I enjoyed this a lot. I really liked... I had no idea about this game. Peak, I could guess what it was about. This game, I didn't know. I thought it was just like Lethal Company 2, which we have played, or Phasmophobia 2, that kind of thing, because there was equipment purchasing. I noticed that straight away. What I didn't realize is that you're actually recording like YouTube videos. That was a nice twist on the game, because after you did a level, if something really silly happened, you had a video of it sometimes, right? You had a video of it sometimes. And that was the highlight of the game, is once you got that really good video to remember and the voice recordings of people in your group. I certainly would say, if you're not used to hearing your own voice or recording content, this is probably a really exceptional experience compared to mine. I was very used to it, as you could probably imagine. I was like, oh, I totally get what we're doing here. And I was like thinking about camera angles and how we can get the lighting and stuff like that. I will say my videos got way more views than everybody else's. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to that. The novelty did wear off for me rather quickly. After maybe an hour or so we played this one, hour and a half, something like that. The novelty did wear off of going through and doing it. I didn't think the monsters were scary enough, honestly. Compared to, I think Lethal Company did this better in terms of creating the tension and horror. But I will say the silly goofiness of having microphones, boom mics, and the extra lighting, and the noise machine was genius. Like, the noise machine added such a good vibe to making the videos, having someone just get machine gunned down in the background while you're filming it, and then go doop, the like slide whistle thing, or like car crash, and that added a fun element to the video creation process. But it did completely take away from the horror. Because the idea was to find these sort of scary, spooky monsters and then record something really silly with them, which lowers that gameplay element a little bit for me. But I would play this again. This was definitely peak. I wouldn't probably play again. This one I would play again. Like this, certainly if you're with good, charismatic personalities, which is what we had, is a lot of fun for an hour or so. I'm not going to deep dive it and do everything it wants to do, like the sponsorships and all that, where he's like, you need 350,000 views in order to unlock the Nerf gun or whatever. That I wasn't too bothered by, but just getting some fun videos that you can save and look back on after a while is really cool. That I very much enjoyed. So yeah, better than peak for me. This one was better. Then we went to Chain Together. Yeah, Chain Together. Obviously, very similar to Only Up, which I kind of, a little bit for me, this falls into the idea of rage bait. But again, really fun. If you've got that group of people who want to hang out and be silly and goofy and aren't super arsed about finishing, or aren't super bothered about finishing in any sort of reasonable time, I guess it's kind of the difference between the guys, if I compare it to, say, WoW or FF, who are totally fine getting together and doing a little raiding every now and again, but they're not competitive in any way. They're not super bothered. I'd actually put that in the category of my immediate family. So, sidetrack here. I've never really been able to play World of Warcraft with my immediate family. There was a very brief period in the Burning Crusade that I recruited them to my guild. But they have just had massively, even though we're playing the same game, massively different objectives compared to me. I always wanted like server first, at least, you know, like let's be one of the top guilds, let's get better, let's go through the roster with a fine-tooth comb, find people's weaknesses, try and strengthen those weaknesses. That was my focus. They just enjoyed playing the game. And that's the difference in personality, right? That's just the nature of the beast. Is like what I take away from this experience is a very different thing than what you take away from this experience, despite the fact that we're both doing the same thing in the same environment. Some people like playing Sunday League football because they get to play with the mates, they get to go to the pub after, they get to do all those kind of things, while other people want to strive to be in the top leagues in the world, right? So chained together, everything I hate about this game was the fact that I was with other people. It does create a fun dynamic of you trying to time it and work together, because Nupss is a bit like me. He likes to get smooth operation and stuff like that. Whereas Bex and Edrem were like, well, Edrem had Australian ping, which makes it very difficult when you're chained together. And Bex has already beat this game with her friends, and so she was well up for trolling and dangling and doing all that kind of stuff. But for me, I was out after about maybe 20 minutes. We did play for about an hour and a half, but after about 20 minutes of like falling down and resetting, my instincts are like, we need to go further, we need to get better, we need to conquer this difficult jump, we need to do that and that, rather than, you know, what the game wants. This is not a fault of the game. Do you see what I hope this makes sense. This is not a fault of any of these games. Is that they work best when you're playing all with the same goal in mind, in the same play style. And if you don't have that in any of these games, like, it doesn't quite work. You need to find that coefficient like you do in WoW and other things, where you're all on the same page. And obviously this opens the door for people to have a lot of fun with you, especially because I was under a time limit and having a gauntlet and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, Chained Together, it's like, I want to beat this. Other people didn't really care what happened, or knew that we couldn't in the time anyway, so it didn't matter. Which, yeah, for me, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm so done with this. It was funny when you jump off and you're very confident in what's happening, and suddenly a chain like drags you in a weird direction, and suddenly you're dangling and all that. Like, the elements of fun are absolutely there. I like that we're trying and we're failing, right? That's what I prefer. Which then we went on to Helldivers 2. This is the one that's the sorest spot with me, because I am absolutely, genuinely really upset that we weren't there during the Helldivers 2 launch and rush that actually went on for a really long time and is still continuing on to this day with a lot of people playing. It's a weird one for us over here. We discuss heavily what games we think are going to be hit or misses in terms of stream in order to make the best experience for the audience. And Helldivers 1 wasn't particularly great. And so when Helldivers 2 was on the menu of what was coming up, I think we even had a sponsorship for it come up, and that's why the discussion happened. And I do remember this amongst the team. Is like we looked at it and we were like, it's okay, but I'm not like the best. Creating streams with co-op isn't really the vibe we do anyway. Like we can have it as a one-off, and I will say that I probably sound a bit down about these games. I had the best day. It was so fun. It really was. All day was absolutely magical. Like, and it was nice to see the audience like, this has been brilliant. We had a lot of laughs, but it was great because it was different games changing in, right? That's if it would have been one game all day, that wouldn't have been very fun. But the fact that we have these constant shifting environments was really nice. So Helldivers 2, I'm really sad that I missed that because we turned it down. We were like, oh, we'll ignore Helldivers 2. And I think we were doing like all the Final Fantasy single players. So we're like, we'll stick to that. Helldivers 2 is coming out, but like it doesn't seem particularly like it's going to be great. And of course, it was a smash hit. Those mistakes happen from time to time. The reason I say I'm sad about it is, wow, this is really good. This is exceptionally good. The actual makeup of the game, which is, you know, make your loadouts and stuff, I don't care about any of that. I got a little perturbed at the start when it was the first button it asked me to play after the tutorial. So it literally put me on my starship was the microtransactions button. I was like, wait a minute, I just paid 30 plus quid for this. This isn't like a freemium game. And now you're asking for microtransactions immediately when I log in. It was like the flashing button, like press this button, and it was like, you can buy these. And I was like, oh, okay. And some people were like, well, you can buy armor that has very specific bonuses and things like that. But then most people were like, no, it's totally fair. Like everything is kind of obtainable in game. It's not like hard to get. You don't need to do any of this stuff. And a lot of it is cosmetic. So I was like, okay, sure. And then we did our first couple of missions. Chris, who's been playing this a hell of a lot, he was our guide on this. Chris and Edrem have played quite a lot. Took us to the easy missions, and I was like, oh, okay. It's wave shooter game, of which I've played probably 1,000. You know, something like that. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. We have guns and orbital lasers. That's cool. But it's, you know, run around a map, kill all the bugs, kill all the robots, do whatever. Then he turned the difficulty up. Then I found my game. This was wonderful. Wonderful. And it totally played into my sense of I need challenge and I need stress and I need stakes to really enjoy myself in a video game. Generally, like there are some exceptions to that, but generally this is what I need. And this is so gorgeous while being so punishing. Like, I don't think I have seen a game, even when they've really tried. If I think of some of like the Call of Duties, where they're going for that mega cinematic experience, your Battlefields, even something like Half-Life 2 doing it for its day. But what this created as an actual just war zone with explosions flying everywhere, you diving through laser beams coming down from starships that are actually killing you, and the enemy sweeping its fighter jets across the sky with giant walkers lumbering over their bases, and then more of them appear, and then through the trees and through the fog you see these extra monsters spawning, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was phenomenal. What an experience, and really hard. Required good coordination from the team. I think we only went to level 6 or 7, of which there's like 11, I think. So it gets way, 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 way more intense than this. And even by then, we were like, okay, we need to sort our loadouts out to deal with this and this, because this is going to happen. How does this work? Really started adapting and modifying how the team was going to play out in this environment. And that's when it got really fun, because losing is fun. And we lost a couple of rounds because of just overwhelming odds while completing our objectives. Like, it actually felt genuinely like we were on the ground. We were boots on the ground dealing with an invasion of insurmountable proportions where we had to work together as a close-knit team to get things done. And then you take a sort of step back and look at what is happening across the skyline, and you're like, Jesus, this is fantastic. like monumental, like building-wide explosions going on, and then suddenly the walkers come through it and just start stomping towards you. Their shields are down. Shoot the rockets right into the eye. Get that big damage. Then you see them crush down. You feel like, yes! Of course, it's a really funny game. You know, very Starship Troopers. It's all messing around with ultra-democracy. These are communists and these are ideologues or whatever it might be. That's all great, but what I found from it was like, oh, wow. Not only is this just great gameplay, really solid gameplay, but just a visual treat. Adored it. Adored it. So of all of them, the first three I'd recommend if you do have that regular group of friends who wants that game that you can chill out in for a couple of hours, have some fun, be goofy, not bothered at all by mistakes, working towards things. The Helldivers 2, I totally get. I don't know what it's like in a pug experience, but playing with the team, it's just absolutely stellar. It was my, I think that and Content Warning were my favorite games of the day. By miles. Those are the two I would absolutely play again. I would love to play more Helldivers 2, but I can just already see it's like, okay, we're a Helldivers 2 channel now for like the next 3 months while we while we do this. And of course, Final Fantasy Tactics is on the horizon, as is Like a Dragon. Not Like a Dragon. Is it Pirates? Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth is on its way. The team was very like, we have a date for Infinite Wealth. You will hit this date. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm excited for it, right? It's all fun. But yeah, amazing. And of course, got the WoW Alpha coming. Is it next week? I don't know, man. My schedule is chaos right now. But either way, those are the games that we played. And if they're, yeah, go check them out. They were all really good. Yeah. Bye, everybody.